Hello everybody, today is March 29, 2022. Here we are in Salsomaggiore, Italy, in the World Bridge Teams Championship with Gavin Wolpert. He is a member of the USA2 team in the open category. Hi, welcome Gavin.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh no, thank you to be here. Can you please tell the audience something about you? Introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm 39 years old. My name is Gavin Wolpert. I'm 39. I was born in Toronto, Canada, to a bridge playing family. My mom is a bridge teacher in Toronto, or was. She still runs a club, and I lived in Toronto and trained on the Canadian junior bridge team, and then moved now to Florida, where I live with my wife and my 3 kids playing professional bridge.
Your wife is also a bridge professional?
My wife is also a bridge professional.
She's a world champion.
She is a world champion, and she jokes with me a little bit about that she's the world champion in the house. So my goal for this week is to come home and
be also
yes, exactly.
Okay, 2 bridge champions in the family. Okay, that's wonderful. At what age did you start to play bridge?
So my mom tried to teach me when I was about 7 years old, and I had a little too much nervous energy to sit at the bridge table. So my brother, who's 7 years older, and I learned at the same time with a group.
He was 14 and you were 7?
He was 14 and I was 7, and he got good at bridge quickly, and I was 7 and couldn't sit still, so I actually got turned off from playing bridge for a little while, and I resented the game. I wanted nothing to do with bridge for quite a long time, and then when I was about 11 or 12, my parents, all of my vacations were bridge tournaments, even though I wasn't a bridge player, so my parents would drag me to the tournaments. My brother would play and my mom and dad would play, but I hated it because it wasn't for me. I didn't want to play. But then I started to caddy at bridge tournaments, and I met other caddies and started to make friends at the tournaments. And one tournament, there were these 2 girls who I was chasing after, and they went to the caddy bridge tournament. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to the caddy bridge tournament. And I went and I played, and it turned out I remembered some of the things I'd learned, and I enjoyed it. And after years of telling my parents at the dinner table, stop talking about bridge, stop talking about bridge, finally when I was about 11 years old, or almost 12, I went with my tail between my legs, Mom, I think I'd like to learn and play bridge. And so then I learned. So I was really about 12 when I started.
Okay, wonderful. And at what time it was evident that you had a special talent for bridge?
Well, I don't feel like I have a special talent for bridge. I feel like I loved the bridge. It was evident that I loved the game when I was a teenager. I loved to play. It's all I wanted to do. I woke up and I think about bridge. I would want to go drive to tournaments on the weekend and play all the time. What happened was I started to get opportunities as I got better, I started to get opportunities to be paid to go to tournaments, or in some cases just my expenses paid, so I got to go, because of the experience that I got, I became a better bridge player. It wasn't a special talent, it was experience playing.
I think that you
had
a special talent, perhaps it developed into the time and then you didn't notice.
I mean, maybe, perhaps, but I think more that I was brought up in a bridge-playing family with logical people who were always, I had logic, always had the ability to solve problems, maybe, but I never felt like, I still don't feel like I have some special talent. I just feel like I played a lot, and I have cool mentality, a calm mentality, so I'm able to play my best all the time, but I'm no Helge Mo or Mexstroth who can do incredible things with it. I just grind my way through and try not to make a lot of mistakes.
Okay, so you're a bridge professional. Do you live from bridge?
I definitely live for bridge. When I was I was in my first couple years of university, and I was not doing a great job with my university, and I wasn't doing a great job with professional bridge, but I decided on September 11th, the September 11th was my first day of my second year university, and I went to school and saw what was happening on TV, and I had a moment where I realized like I'm not doing a good job at either of the 2 things that I'm trying to do, bridge or I really decided I saw that these people's lives came to an end so abruptly on airplanes or at work, and I realized that you can only live once, and I decided to leave school and focus on bridge, and
Well, it was a good idea.
It was. My parents were not very happy with me for the first couple of years. They were very upset.
Why? They are bridge professionals too.
Well, my mom's a bridge teacher. It's not the same thing. In fact, my whole advice that I got as a kid from everybody around me was don't turn into a bridge bum, somebody who just sits around at the club and tries to earn a living but can't really earn a good living. They were always afraid that that would happen to me, but I knew I loved the game and I wanted to do it, so I just went for it anyway. And a couple years later, I had my first big result. I came second in the spin gold, and when I went home, my mom, I could tell that the tone had changed in my house, and they were happier with my decision. They realized that I was showing that I could be successful as a bridge pro. And now the pro bridge world in North America, it matured in a way that I'm able to make a fantastic living. Though during the pandemic, it cut everything off. All of the tournaments that I was able to play, that all went away. So it became, I got a little scared for my future, and that motivated me to start teaching bridge through Zoom and doing online classes, and that has turned into a whole nother way that I can make an excellent living at bridge. And so now that the bridge is coming back, the tournaments are coming back, I'm actually trying to kind of blend those two together, and of being able to teach and also be able to play.
Okay, Gavin, and I know it's getting more and more difficult to become a bridge professional. Do you think the same, or?
It's hard to break in. It's a hard game. I mean, there's so much experience involved in being a great player that it takes a long time to get to that level. But once you're at that level, I mean, it's difficult. I would say it's very difficult. It just takes a big commitment to the game to become a professional. And in the beginning, it's very hard to make money. And so you have to want it, really want it. Yeah.
Okay. And what about if you approach a young Gavin Wolpert? What would be your advice to him?
I would say that definitely not to give yourself such a hard time over making mistakes at bridge. You go through a roller coaster in your life of confidence in bridge. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And so I've gone through many phases of my bridge where I start really feeling very bad about my game. I'm very worried about my mistakes and things. But then time goes by, and it's streaky. It's very difficult, because as you get better, you really do start realizing.
And your wife helps you in this kind of thoughts?
Yeah, we don't.
You talk about that?
I would say not so much. Our lives, since we had kids, our lives are all
normal,
getting our kids,
not bridge family,
normal family.
Just
driving our kids to school, taking them to soccer, doing just regular. We're regular people at home for sure.
Okay, and did you think to quit in some moment?
I've had moments where I've always had planned tournaments coming up, so it's very hard to quit. Once you're in, you're in, and I've definitely had moments where I was regretting it or feeling like I'm not sure this is what I want to do, but now I'm definitely completely past that now. I'm definitely happy that I did what I did and chose it with my path. But
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. As a young bridge player, did you have heroes? You have heroes now, bridge heroes?
I do. I have. I mean, when I was young, I looked up to the Canadian first. When I was in Canada, I looked up to Fred Gittleman and Jeff Hampson, who were at the top of Canadian bridge. And then as I started to play bridge, I really looked up to Steve Weinstein and Bobby Levin and those guys. And then when I was about 20 years old, Alfredo Versace was the one which was interesting that for a Canadian American to start looking up to Italian. He did something very, very nice for me as a young professional, where my partner and I were at a tournament. We wanted to know what system that he and Lorenzo played on a certain over 2 club opening, and went up to him and asked him about his system and said, can you teach us what you play? And he went to his room and gave us his 400-page system notes, which to me at the time, it was just absolutely unbelievable. He said, go copy whatever you want, and that was refreshing to me. And since then, he's been one of my bridge heroes. Somebody that good, that was willing to share what you'd think would be secrets, or what I had been brought up to perceive that system was something you don't want to share with other people. For him to be so open and say, you learn my system. I will. In some ways, it's just the attitude of I'm going to beat you at bridge, not by system. And that I've always just really admired that. So I've always looked up to him.
Wonderful, Gavin. This is beautiful. What is the best part of being a bridge professional?
Getting to do what I love, I would say. Like I get to play bridge. When you're passionate about something, to spend your life being able to enjoy that passion and that's the best part, is being able to compete at what I
In what you love. Okay.
what I'm good at also.
Yes. Yes. Do you also express your creativity through music, sports,
So
hobbies?
I was a musical as a kid. Actually, about 3 or 4 years ago, I took up ice hockey after never skating before in my life, and I've found an unbelievable passion for that. And it's amazing how after you've gotten very good at something like I have at bridge, to be able to go and try something new and really attack it. I've gone at it with a mentality of I know how to get better at it, so I'm really been religiously going on the ice as much as I can and practicing in the way that, and I found the same passion for ice hockey as I had for bridge. In fact, in some ways, when I made bridge my living, I didn't realize that when you make what you love into your job, I still love bridge the same now as I always have. I love the game, but at the same time, I don't wake up dreaming about bridge like I did when I was 15 years old. Now I wake up, I love to compete and I love to go to the tournaments, but I don't have that same fire for bridge. And what I found by finding ice hockey, I'm like, wow, it's really
you can
like
combine.
Now I have bridge and I love bridge, but I also have this passion
and it's good for your.
It's been amazing for my physical. It's changed my life, honestly, in that way.
Yes, you are fit, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. And what is left of sport when sports ends? What sport gave you in your life? What do you think you have developed thanks to bridge?
So bridge has given me the ability to stay calm and be able to think about a whole problem and throw out the things that I don't need and focus on what I need to focus on.
That's very important in life too.
It really is, because there are times where the kids are going crazy and or you're having crazy situations that if being able to separate why this is happening from all of the little behavior, they're throwing things or doing them, whatever, but understanding what's the root, where is this coming from, how can I solve this, and that problem-solving skill of bridge, that it's amazing how it applies to everything. In ice hockey, I'm amazed at how much my ability to process things happening and making decisions in advance and just seeing problems before they happen. It's definitely something that I've taken from bridge that in every aspect of life.
That's wonderful. How old are your children?
So my daughter is 12, my oldest. My boys are 9 and 6. So
okay, and
kids.
Do they play bridge?
My
what
daughter.
What do they think about bridge?
So it's hard. I've never wanted to force them into it. Because my parents tried to force me into it, and I saw that did not work. But I at the same time, I love the game so much, and I'm so happy with everything that it's done for me in my life. I've met my wife. I make a living from it. I enjoy it. It gives me. It's the most rewarding game. So I want them to be a part of it. So I'm trying to not be too hands-on and just try to make them enjoy it, teach them little bits and pieces. My boys I've got them very much into cards. We all play cards, lots of cards, but none of them are bridge players just yet. But my boys have both shown interest in learning. My daughter is a little bit more like me, where she's rejecting it because it's around too much.
Gavin, almost the last. You have a YouTube channel. It's a wonderful, wonderful YouTube channel. I recommend it. Can you talk about the vision you have? Why are you developing this?
So I share videos on YouTube to help spread the word about my ability to teach, that I love to teach. I'm very passionate about teaching. And so I have the YouTube channel as a way to share bridge ideas with people and help. If they can't afford anything, they can watch the YouTube channels for free. But if they like the way I teach, then maybe I can grow my teaching business. So it's kind of a way to give back to the bridge community, at the same time support my business.
Okay, can you tell the audience your YouTube channel, the name of your YouTube?
Oh, if you search for Gavin Wolpert YouTube in Google, that would be the way to find it. It's a funny URL that you wouldn't, it's not just an easy one like www.gavinwolpert.com.
Okay.
My teaching is wolpertbridge.com.
Okay, and last, your main advice for the bridge youth?
My main advice for bridge youth is don't be too hard on yourself. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes every time. I played a set of boards just now, 16 boards. I make mistakes. It's important that you go back and look at your mistakes and try to see how you could do better, but don't try to be too perfect, because nobody's perfect, not even the best players in this tournament. Everybody is making mistakes. So if you're not too hard on yourself, you will help yourself learn, and you'll also help yourself play better, because if you're sitting there yelling at yourself while you're playing, you don't have your mental space to play your best.
Well, this is all from Gavin Wolpert from here, and thank you very much, Gavin. It was wonderful to hear you, and very nice
Thank you
interview.
for having me.
Okay, no, thank you.